What are we doing today, Jacob?
We are ranking our top 5 fictional races.
Welcome to NerdOut. Okay, so we are doing our top five, as Jacob said, sorry, our top five fictional races. We thought we'd start doing more top fives because we quite enjoyed doing the last one, and we just thought, hey, you know what? It's a lot of fun to do, and it gets you guys to know us a little bit better. So, where should we start? Should we start with your number five or my number five, Jacob?
Now we'll go for your number 5 first.
Okay, so my number five is the Urukai from Lord of the Rings.
Ooh.
I like the fact that it's with the Urukai. They've always been like when I first watched Lord of the Rings, I just fell in love with the Urukai immediately.
Yeah.
Everything was great about them. They're big, they're bulky, they're really kick ass. They're a weird hybrid between orc and goblin, and they've just been my favorite bad guy in a movie that's like a sentient race. Anyway, but yeah, the Urukai is my number five.
My number 5 is the Blood Elves from World of Warcraft.
Ah, yeah, that you stole one of
Um,
my honorable mentions.
yeah, I just think, and was it they changed their name after the Scourge invasion
Yeah,
of Qual Phalas or something like
you don't even
that.
play World of Warcraft, Jacob.
I don't. However, I just think they're so cool. I do watch a lot of videos.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they've got like a really good history, and the
yeah.
fact obviously because they switched to the Horde, not because they were a bad race, but kind of for survival.
Yeah,
Um,
it's my favorite race to play as. I've got a Blood Elf Paladin who is my soul and joy on my World of Warcraft account.
yeah, I think what people are going to notice from this as well is I'm so far up Elven ass that it is quite
You
scary.
you suck, almighty elven penis.
Yeah,
You really
so,
do.
which makes Skyrim very hard for me.
I don't take that out of context. All right, number four. My number four comes from the Warhammer 40k universe. It is the Necrons. So, history with the Necrons being that they were once a living race of people. They then decided to store their souls into basically necromancy machines, and they became the Necrons. I just think they're almost like my race in here because they're just really cool. I like their aesthetics. I like the whole Egyptian aspect to them as well. Yeah, number four for me, Necrons. I love Necrons.
My number 4, and I don't think this is going to surprise you, but this is on there, are the Khajiit from elsewhere in Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, you stole another one
Um,
of my honorable mentions there. Let me just cross that out.
yeah, obviously one of the beast races in Tamriel. I think their lore is absolutely fantastic.
Totally agree.
I was
Totally
watching a
agree.
video that Epic Nate did yesterday, and like when you hear that there's several different species of Khajiit,
Yeah, based on where
but
they live and things.
well, it's nothing to do with that. It's to do with when they're born and what the position of the moon
Oh
is,
yeah, because
and
of
if
their
it's a
religion.
full moon. And then obviously the Thalmor managed to kind of get them to the Eldmeri Dominion when the moon disappeared for 2 years and then came back, and the Thalmor were like, "We brought it back for you." Also, I didn't know this, but I only found this out today. In Skyrim, the only Khajiits that you can get into cities in Skyrim are obviously if you're a Khajiit, if your followers are Khajiit, or if you're marrying Ysolda and she invites one of the Khajiit caravans. Other than that, Khajiits are not allowed in any cities in Skyrim.
That is actually quite. Did you get that from Epic Nate's video?
Yes, I did.
I haven't watched it yet. I think I do want to give that a quick watch. Okay, number three. My number three is the Mocklins from the Orville from Seth MacFarlane's The Orville. The reason why I love the Mocklins so much is they're a race that bring out so many like political issues that we have in today's society and in life in general that not just today but we've had for quite some time. They also raise a lot of questions of ethical choice and like moral choice, but also this is a race built who have industrialized an entire planet to manufacture weapons. That's cool. They can eat anything and they can breathe pretty much any air because they're so much used to toxicity.
I do love that episode as well where they're just like, eat this.
Yeah, and like the Mocklins just keep getting like it seems to be a race that they keep building on in the Orville TV series. Is like they're prone to nicotine addiction as we see in season 2. They look weird with a mustache. And they have all the like these strange traditions and stuff, when the whole thing with like female Mocklins, an all-male species, but with a female, what they call a genetic fault. I think it's just a really like in-depth and really well thought out fictional race.
My third, and I'm surprised that it's actually this low on the list.
Yeah,
I was expecting are the Twi'leks from Star Wars.
I say you've got me lost here right now.
They're the ones with the tentacles, the 2 tentacles coming down their heads.
Oh, the green ones.
Now this is one of the reasons why I love them. Is these are the colors they come in: black, blue, green, orange, red. No, yeah, they come in red, teal, white, yellow. They come in so many different colors. But also, they just look cool. There's no real reason for it. I think there's one Jedi, can't remember her name. She was pretty badass. And then you've got Jabba the Hutt's, like basically secretary is one of them as well. The white one from Return of the Jedi.
Jabba the Hutt as a secretary?
Well, you know his like assistant.
Oh no, he's got.
No,
I thought he was a different race.
that's Twi'lek.
Oh,
There's so many different types of Twi'lek, but they're all from the same planet. However,
Okay.
Female Twi'leks often get sent off as slaves. I think when you watch the Clone Wars, if you ever decide to watch that, the male Twi'leks as well are just so badass, and their entire race and they're also supposed to be really good pilots.
Yeah, we see one or two, isn't it, in the Mandalorian, the prisoner episode. It's just the one, isn't it? Sorry.
You see, yeah, the one pilot and then the one butch as hell Twi'lek, but
Yeah.
you've also got the main pilot in Star Wars Rebels is, I believe, also the Twi'lek.
Okay. Alright, number 2s. So this is the penultimate one before our honourable mentions. Mine is, and I think this is up for debate whether they're actually a different race entirely. But I'm going to go from the Tomb Kings from the Warhammer Fantasy universe, the old
Knew
world.
this was coming.
Yes, I love ancient Egypt. Therefore, when I discovered a fictional undead race of ancient Egyptians, basically, I went, yes, please. Started reading into the lore. They've got a really good lore. They've got a really good history with one of the best necromancers in the Warhammer universe, and they're one of the oldest civilizations in the Warhammer Old World. They formed like a prospering society, whilst the men in Altdorf and Reichland and places like that weren't even when they were still tribes and they weren't fully consolidated yet. And of course their history with the Gash, everything like that, and like the different like little factions and the story behind Cetra the Imperishable. I think the Tomb Kings definitely deserve like my second top spot. They're not my top spot, however.
My second, and I don't think this is going to come as any surprise to you again, because we did have this debate yesterday.
Yeah.
And in fact, you didn't know any of my others, but we did have my top 1 debate.
Yes, we did.
Hailing from the Underdark in D&D, we have the Drow.
Yeah, knew this was coming.
Or Dark Owls, Deep Owls, Night Owls are the ones who went below, whichever you prefer to call them. And it's not so. I feel like if they were real, I'd hate them. I think most people do, but like, I think it's one of those things for one of the only things that many humans can agree with elves on are that dark elves are dicks.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why I love them, because I think playing D&D, I have always played the dickhead character. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I'm very good at playing chaotic neutral. So playing a rogue drow is just so up my alley. But also I think that the Underdark is something that a lot of DMs do not utilize, because the Underdark can be such an amazing place to go, and the species and the creatures down there are fantastic.
Yeah.
Most DMs wouldn't even bother with it. But also the race as a whole, like no one can trust them. They're quite interesting. Obviously, they're very well hated. There are a few good ones, but like that's a few.
Yeah.
And if you decide to pick a drow and you go lawful good, there is something wrong with you.
That's
but
down
like,
to personal choice. That's down to
yeah, but
personal
it's the
choice.
same. Yeah, they're wrong. But also, I think the types of magic that they can do as well, and the fact they're just genuine tricksters, which I
Yeah.
really like. I think you can have so much fun with them. Yeah, that's basically it.
All right, sweet. Honorable mentions. I'm going to start off with one of my honorable mentions of the Druchii, or the Dark Elves from the Warhammer Old World. From Warhammer Fantasy. They're badass. Malekith is just a cool leader.
He
Uh,
just looks like
yeah,
insane
they've,
as
they've
well.
they've tamed some of the greatest beasts of the frozen north. And yeah, I think they're awesome. The Tabaxi from the Warhammer, not from the Warhammer, from the D&D universe. I also had Khajiit here, but I've also got Tabaxi because who doesn't like cat people? Who doesn't like
Yeah,
cat people?
considering I have Khajiit, I don't have Tabaxi.
I also like that there was a bit of like I like how the Tabaxi look as well. Like the Khajiit look good, but the Tabaxi look better as cat people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And the once again from the Warhammer Fantasy, the Lizard Men from the
yeah.
Warhammer the Seraphon. I think they are, as being one of the oldest species and one of the biggest anti-chaos species or races in the Warhammer world. They're very interesting. They have quite a nice little thing with magic and everything.
My honourable mentions, I've got the Sindar Elves from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Just because Legolas. I'm not going to be honest. To be honest, not because of any of the others. It is just because Legolas. Like
Legolas is a Mirkwood elf, isn't he?
Nice Cinder.
But
Pretty sure he's
isn't he from the Kingdom of Mirkwood?
I'm googling this.
Okay, so we're
So
just
we
going to
can...
fill a gap here now with some Google time.
Legolas. Cinder.
But he's Mirkwood born.
From Mirkwood, but he's a Sindar elf.
Okay.
Woo, I was correct. The Kalons from the Orville.
Yeah.
Again, would hate them if they existed, but I think it's just their whole. The first time you meet Isaac, you're like, aren't your people just legendarily racist? And it's how they think they're above everyone.
Yeah.
It's that comedy aspect you get with Isaac is on another level. However, then you meet the rest of the Kalons, and you're like, yeah, you're a bunch of dicks. Boffins from Star Wars, because these weren't the Boffins that died getting them the blueprints, but they are the dog-looking race.
Yeah.
That are very well known for their politics, and they're quite neutral. I don't actually know if there's any Boffin Jedi. Night Elves from Warhammer, because they look just so unbelievably
Night Elves.
cool. Yeah. No, not from Warhammer, from
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. Yeah. You've done this as well, so it's okay. We both messed up. And this one, I was like, I have to put on here, Mr. Meeseeks from Rick and Morty. I had to put it on there. Just because when I was writing this list, in my head I had, "Hey, Mr. Meeseeks, I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me, I'm Mr. Meeseeks."
Oh, somebody get a gun and shoot me in the face.
And then one more. I had to be fair, this is two from two different realms, games, films, and everything. Lizard folk because they're cool, but also the Transdoshans from Star Wars because who just doesn't love a bounty hunter that's a lizard? When you throw Bosk in there, everyone looks cool.
Yeah. But Bosk is very impolite. He doesn't wear shoes indoors.
Yes. However, again, when you see the Transdoshans on Clone Wars, you just realise they're dicks as well. I don't think I've got any genuinely nice races on here.
You just chose a bunch of assholes, really, didn't you?
Like the Twi'leks are nice. The Khajiit are probably nice, but no one trusts them enough to really try. Other than that, the Boffins are nice. But other than that, the rest of mine can be kind of considered evil in many ways.
So it's a lot about your personality, Jacob.
Yeah,
mind you, I've got undead here, and I've got two sets of undead, one mutant,
Is that you foreshadowing what your number one spot is?
No, it isn't actually.
Oh, so what's your number one spot then,
My
Tyler?
number one spot is every time that I play this game series, it's the first race I play as. Um, I've done it with the
Can I have a
online version.
guess?
Yeah.
Is it Imperial?
No, that's where you're wrong.
Ah,
If you remember rightly, my first Oblivion character, my first Skyrim character, and
ah,
my
ah.
first
Okay,
and my first Elder Scrolls Online character was
Argonian.
correct. I love the lore behind the Argonians. I think the
Ah,
Argonians have an amazing religious system. They have an amazing honor system. Yeah, sure, they enslaved the Dark Elves, but they've also been enslaved. They have such an awesome history,
there's no
and
bigger
everything to do
mystery
with
than a history.
the history, not the history, but the history as well. Like
History.
everything about the Argonians to me, when I first played the Elder Scrolls games, which was Oblivion, I just fell in love with them there and then. It probably explains why I like the lizard men and the lizard folk from the D&D and the Warhammer universes as well, because it was the Argonians that basically made me to love like these like lizard people of like these fictional universes, and
Yeah,
I think they're just such a well thought out, awesome race.
I think my favorite bit with these was when you played with an Argonian with your first, your first character before you made your Imperial
Yeah.
on Elder Scrolls. When you just had that bat with knives on it, and you eventually stopped using the Argonian because I kept taking a piss out of all the Argonian
Yeah.
weapons
I,
because
I,
they
I,
just don't look great. I'll be honest.
I would have had a level 50, level 60, 70, God knows what Argonian if you just didn't take the mickey out of it.
Yeah, it was more the case that you just their weapon just looked like a block of wood with a couple of knives in the end. And
It's
to be
based
fair,
on
their armor weren't great
Aztec
either.
history. It's based on Aztec weaponry.
I respect him. I was just like on Elder Scrolls, on Elder Scrolls Online. I think now more than ever, Elder Scrolls Online is about the looks and the aesthetic, and the Argonians just don't have that in their face.
You're wrong. I think they look awesome, and I got peer pressured into getting rid of that Argonian character. So I'm blaming you wholeheartedly for that.
Okay.
What's
Now,
your number one?
my number one is the first character I always go with in every Elder Scrolls game ever. I will always continue to do it, which is Tyler. Who are they?
They're the Dunmer.
The Dunmer, the Daedric loving Dark Elves. Oh, how I love these guys.
They are good. I do like them.
They are just awesome, and the fact they're part of the Ebonheart Pact as well just makes it so much cooler. They're the easiest to edit. I found out that every time I give them a beard, that's wrong because they shouldn't have beards.
No, they're not supposed to. No, none of the elves are supposed to have beards. I think. Yeah.
No,
elves
apparently it's only Dark Elves that are supposed to not have beards, which just shows that Bethesda just don't care because they do it anyway. But then again, they don't care because they released DLC for Elder Scrolls Online that's 50 quid. So
as much as they get, it could be worse. It's not a paid subscription like World of Warcraft, and then you have to buy like the new expansion. I do like World of Warcraft, but Elder Scrolls Online, I think they do it a bit more efficiently.
I think with the Dunmer, it's their destruction magic, their stealth aspect. I think they're one of probably the most well-rounded races in Elder Scrolls lore.
Yeah.
I think obviously when it comes to two-handed weapons, that is where they're just crap. But when you've got that magic aspect and the assassin aspect, you don't really need that. I think as well, like we had a conversation, I think like last year when we were trying to work out who the strongest race are. And to be fair, they probably do fit in the top three.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, and the fact they've got the Daedra on their side. And also, their gods are just on another...
The Trinity.
Yeah, the fact for my birthday, you got me a Vivek pop vinyl.
Oh, yeah. Had to be done.
The Trinity are awesome. Morrowind is just amazing.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I like that our number ones are both Elder Scrolls races, but also part of the Ebonheart Pact who we play as on Elder Scrolls Online.
And I think the thing is, like, and I'm surprised Imperial hasn't made your list at all.
I know, but it's because it's very generic human, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel like when we do a worst 5 races, I think humans going to finish quite high on those lists. Because I think it's like in Tolkien's lore, they were just so easily corrupt. To be fair, Warhammer
Yeah.
so easily corrupt. Warcraft, corrupt,
And then you've got in Elder Scrolls.
racist.
Yeah.
They're, funnily enough, they're humans and elves are the most racist in there. Dark elves aren't even that racist. Like dark elves just kind of want to fit in Elder Scrolls lore, which
Oh no,
is quite ironic.
they do enslave Argonians.
Yeah, but who doesn't? I think, like, when you
Thanks.
look at it historically, and I think to be fair, I think that's the Dark Elves are so different to the rest of the elves. Obviously, you've got the Bosmer, who are just awful and irrelevant, and will end up on my top 5 worst races because they are who plays Skyrim and picks a wood elf. If you thumb down this video, I'm assuming it's because you either play a lawful good drow or you play a wood elf in Elder Scrolls. I played a wood elf for Elder Scrolls Online for maybe an hour.
I done it on Skyrim for like 20 minutes.
I don't think I got very far.
No, same.
I thought they're good at archery, and then I remembered that with mods, everyone else is too.
Yeah, I think that would be quite a good video for us to do. You know, looking at all the different races in the Elder Scrolls universe and picking the top 3 most versatile or strongest.
Because I think you've got, yeah, especially when you've got like Bretons and Redguards who again are equally well-rounded. Khajiit, I didn't realize until like Elder Scrolls Online came around how good they are with a two-handed weapon.
They're tanks and they're little sneaky bastards.
Yeah, but when it comes to magic, a little bit crap.
Yeah. Okay, so that's been our top 5 favorite races from fiction.
Like always, we got very distracted.
I like these videos. We get carried away, and it brings out our personality. And I quite enjoy talking about it. We are nerds. We are nerding out. The channel's called NerdOut.
I think these are videos where we actually prove it. Like when we did the Astartes one, I had no idea what was going on.
Okay, so picking bones now. If you dislike a video on ours, if you dislike the video, tell us why. Help us improve. Is it the video quality? Is it the content? Is it the fact we're bleeping out swearing now?
Is it the fact I have no idea what's going on?
Exactly. Tell us what we've done wrong, and we will seek to improve it.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. Like, at the end of the day, we know we're not great.
Oh yeah, we're two poor kids on a low budget, making the best of what we got with my video editing skill and his. Well, with whatever you've got, Jacob.
With my sending it to him. Well, I didn't need to do that. We recorded off the same stream.
You do research more than anything else.
Yeah, and as you could tell from this video, it didn't do an awful lot.
Yeah.
But I was right about the Sindar elves. And, I mean, I did read Lord of the Rings like 2 months ago, so I should know.
It's been a few years since I read it. Anyway, on that note, thank you for watching, if you have been watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. That would be fantastic.
Thumbs down and tell us why if you're going
to dislike it, please tell us why. Also, I'm just going to throw a quick thing in here. Check out my Twitch channel. Stacey Jacks.
You'll be the only viewer.
It's the little, you can see my name. It's basically that, but you take away the C. Because Twitch won't allow the C, apparently. Anyway,
really?
Yeah, they won't. Anyway.
I didn't know that.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll probably see you in the next one. God knows what the next video is going to be.
We're going to work that out in 5 minutes.
We are. Stay safe, stay healthy, save the NHS.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. See you in the next one, guys.
Adios.